7. My strength shall be with God.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Though the news was expected, the headline was nonetheless jarring. What has been a constitutional right since 1973 has been overturned by those who said they considered Roe v. Wade settled law and therefore no longer up for debate. Though the news is devastating, today I am so proud to be a Reform Jew and a Reform rabbi. The Reform movement has condemned today's Supreme Court ruling, stripping women and others who can become pregnant of the fundamental right to make essential healthcare decisions free of governmental interference. Abortion access is a critical component of reproductive health care. The decision disproportionately impacts those already facing discriminatory obstacles to health care and other human rights, including Black, Indigenous, and other people of color, people with disabilities, people in rural areas, undocumented people, and low-income people. Judaism permits and even sometimes requires abortion in the case that the life and the well-being of the pregnant person is endangered. Depriving individuals and women in our country access to abortion undermines the freedom of minority religions, like Judaism, upon which this country was built. But Shabbat is a time of joy, and we will not let today's news diminish our celebration of Pride Shabbat. You may wonder, why celebrate Pride Shabbat here at Temple Emanu-El? After all, marriage equality is the law of the land. Members of the LGBTQ+ community can openly serve in the armed forces now, and our country has an openly gay cabinet member. Right here at Temple Emanu-El, we have a gay rabbi, in case you didn't know. But that is not the entire story. With the rise of anti-LGBTQ+ and anti-trans policies taking place in states across the United States, it is of urgent importance that we show love and support for our neighbors. We want to embrace radically welcoming ourselves and others to show up as authentic individuals for Pride Shabbat. Temple Emanu-El has openly gay members. Our members have children who are gay, lesbian, non-binary, and transgender. We have students in our high school program who identify as queer. We have students who are opting to become b'nai mitzvah rather than bar or bat mitzvah because they identify as neither entirely male or female. Chances are you have a friend or a sibling or a relative who is a member of the LGBTQ community. Pride Shabbat is when we say to them, "We see you, we love you, you are welcome here." Now, though some politicians and places will seek to erase you, to make you disappear, here at Temple Emanu-El, you are embraced and celebrated. It is in that spirit of visibility tonight that I am wearing my Pride kippah. And you may have noticed that I am wearing this evening an especially colorful talit. Rabbi Prosnit lent it to me. He has a wardrobe of talitot. It is actually his bar mitzvah talis. While I do not think he was making a statement about gay pride and declaring himself an ally when he was 13, Rabbi Prosnit now refers to this as his rainbow talis. And tonight, I wear it with pride. We know that Shabbat is meant to be a foretaste of a more perfect world, a world where no one has to hide, where everyone is free to be who they are and to love who they want. We continue with Dodi Lee on page 129. And we are in the blue page, the blue page numbers in the brackets at the bottom of your pages.
So
Tomorrow morning, Sophie Searfrost will be called to the Torah as a bat mitzvah. And now it is my pleasure to invite Sophie and her mom Judy to join us on the bima to light the Shabbat candles on page 120.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among us who kindle light.
Sophie, we are looking forward to tomorrow morning. You have been such a diligent student of Torah, and I've loved learning with you. And you have a lovely voice, and I know you're going to bring such honor to the service tomorrow. And I know that Cantor Goldman and I can't wait to hear you chant Torah tomorrow morning. So, Mazel Tov on this wonderful occasion. We continue with Lecha Dodi, beginning on page 138, verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Cantor?
Always.
Always, okay. And when we get to our last verse, verse 9, I will invite the congregation to rise and face the door as we welcome Shabbat into our presence.
Shabbat
as we turn to page 146 for the Baruch Hu. We join together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhmah poteach she'arim, uvitbuna mishaneh itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, b'mishmorateim barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Ma'avir yom u'mevi laila, u'mavdil ben yom u'ben laila, Adonai Tzevaot Shemo. El Chai v'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Be seated.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'chayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam V'shivtecha b'veitecha, uv'lechtecha b'derech, uv'shokbecha, uv'kumecha, uv'kshartam le'ot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uv'isharecha, leman tiskeru, va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, V'tem kedoshim le'loechem, ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, Liot lachem le'Elohim, ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet.
We join together on page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land,
that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there, except by joining hands, marching together. Baruch atah Adonai, Israel.
Life is fragile. We remind ourselves of that each night before we go to bed. We pray that we can lie down in peace and that tomorrow we will rise up. We pray because we understand that life is a fragile gift, not an entitlement, not a given. None of us knows when our time will come. Hashkivenu acknowledges the evil that surrounds us and prays for our protection. The only thing that remains in our hands is what we do with the time we have and how we live a given day. Hashkivenu reminds us that the life we have been given is a gift, and that can never be taken from us. Page 159.
And it's
160.
161 even.
161.
And 160. And it's my treat to get to invite up my cantorial soul sister, Cantor Olivia Brodsky, from my cantorial class and dear friend, to bring further harmony to our congregation. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, leShalom. Hashkivenu.
Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkiveinu Leshalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
We continue on page 162 with Vishamru.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat lidorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat lidorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat lidorotam berit olam. Ki sheishet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat lidorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat lidorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat lidorotam berit olam.
O God of truth and justice, the evasions and deceits we practice upon others and upon ourselves are many. We long only to speak and to hear the truth, yet time and again, from fear of loss or hope of gain, from dull habit or from cruel deliberation, we speak half-truths, we twist facts, we are silent when others lie, and we lie to ourselves. We sometimes feel forced to pretend to be that which we are not, to present ourselves in ways that are not truthful, and sometimes with outright lies. But as we stand before you, our words and our thoughts speed to the one who knows them before we utter them. Eternal God, purify our hearts to serve you in truth. We continue with the Amidah, beginning on page 164. I invite Sophie Sirfas to join us on the Bima, and I ask the congregation to please rise.
Chayeh Umatzliach Yeshua V'ne'eman ata lehachayot hako Baruch ata Adonai Mechayeh hako Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh V'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah Baruch ata Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
You may be seated. We continue silently.
When Rabbi Hillel is asked to describe the Torah on one foot, this is what he says: V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Love your neighbor as yourself. We chant these words every Yom Kippur afternoon, for we need to be reminded that when coming and returning to ourselves, and that in truly to love the other, that means honoring and loving every part of who they are. So here is a new setting of this text, V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, on your song sheet by Alana Arian, who wrote it for her wife just last month at her wife's installation as a cantor. And let these words be our guide where love is our navigator.
L'reacha
Even as we celebrate Shabbat, we take a moment to call to our hearts and minds those who are in need of healing. Mishaberach Avotenu ve'imotenu, Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah, Hu Yivarech et hacholim. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless those who are now ill. I invite you now to share the names of those for whom you are praying. Feel free to put their names in the live stream chat box if you are not with us. And if you are here in the sanctuary, please share the names out loud now of those for whom you are praying. And to those names, we add Gabby Kraft Buckman, Sharon Neese, Ari Brofman, Sharon Zidney, Gary Donner, Sheila Rich, Thelma Wertheim, Sheila Lasker, Daniel Stern, Jill Tabachnik, Sherry Barnett, Howard Trachtenberg, Ross Kagan, Stephen Wasser, Shirley Rosenberg, Hushang Aziz. May the one who was a source of blessing for our ancestors bring blessings of healing upon those whose names we have mentioned and those named in our hearts. Each week, we are reminded that life always holds the promise of sweetness. We thank God for the gift of Shabbat, and we pray that our cups will always runneth over with joy. Please turn to page 122 and rise for the Shabbat Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shavat kosho b'ahava u'ratzon, hinchilanu, zikaron, le'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tefillah, le'mikra'ei kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim, ki anu v'charta, v'yotanu kidashta, mikol hanim, v'shavat kodeshecha, v'ahava u'ratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
L'chaim. You may be seated. A couple of weeks ago, on a warm, sunny afternoon, I joined dozens of other people when the town of Westfield raised the pride flag. I was so glad I was there. In front of town hall, I ran into a number of congregants, from a member who has been at the temple for 36 years, to one who joined just a couple of years ago, a young mom pushing her infant in a stroller. and I ran into half a dozen of our teenagers and some of their parents. I happen to know these teens. I know them because they all identify as gay or trans or non-binary. Some of them told me how glad they were to see me there. A longtime member and I, who are close, chatted for a while. The new member and I talked about how important this event was. When I think about Florida adopting a Don't Say Gay bill, or the Texas Republican Party adopting a platform that calls homosexuality abnormal, I will steady myself by thinking of the flag raising here in town. Despite the many setbacks, I am constantly amazed at the progress I have seen. I can't imagine something like this from my own youth, if for no other reason than the pride flag wasn't created until I was 18 years old. When I was the age of our teens, there was no such thing as an openly gay rabbi. It was impossible. Hebrew Union College would never accept an openly gay student, or even a student they suspected might be gay. My dream of becoming a rabbi would have to become a dream deferred for an entire decade. Marriage equality wasn't even a term. What we wanted was just not to be denied a job or an apartment. We wanted to be able to hold our boyfriend's hand in public without fear of being beaten up. While I am not complacent or think that there are no more battles to be fought, from my vantage point, I am amazed at the progress I have witnessed. Yet for every victory there has been a backlash. For every city that adopted a domestic partnership, another state outlawed it. For every town that enacted a gay rights ordinance, another town overturned one. For every state that protected trans people, another state allowed their rights to be taken away. In 2015, 7 years ago this week, when the Supreme Court struck down state bans on same-sex marriage, it might have been easy to have been lulled into a false sense of security. Now that we had marriage, what was left? Our work was done, but it wasn't. Those who did not support gay rights turned their attention to trans people, especially trans teens. A year later, 2016, North Carolina passed a bill that prevented transgender people in the state from using bathrooms that aligned with their gender identity. And now in Florida, public school teachers are banned from holding classroom instruction about sexual orientation or gender identity. It is known as the Don't Say Gay bill. In Texas, parents can lose custody of their children for seeking out gender-affirming medical care for them. It seems that some people want to pretend that LGBTQ people don't exist, that if we don't talk about it, it will go away. Or worse, that simply talking about being gay will make children want to be gay. I really don't think it works that way. I think some people are just afraid of what they do not know or what they have not yet encountered. I get it. Change can be frightening. Most of us would like our world to fit into neat little boxes. It's just easier that way. But the trans kid or the two moms, they don't fit so easily into those little boxes. Some people will be so afraid they will long for a time when people could not be their authentic selves, when people were forced to live in closets. But others will be brave and learn new vocabulary and apologize when they misgender someone and offer to do better next time. Just like some of us, our biblical ancestors were also afraid of change. In this week's Torah portion, Shalach Lecha, emissaries from the 12 tribes are sent out to scout the land. These spies, as they are sometimes called, are asked to scout out the promised land and to bring back a report. Are the people strong or weak, few or many? Is the soil rich or poor? Are the towns open or fortified? In other words, would the Israelites be able to conquer this land. They returned and reported that the land does indeed flow with milk and honey. However, 10 of the scouts reported that the people who inhabit the country are powerful and the cities are fortified and very large. All the people that we saw, the scouts said, are of great size. We saw giants there, and we looked like grasshoppers to ourselves, and so we must have looked to them. As Menachem Mendel of Kotsk, a 19th century Hasidic rabbi, commented, what the scouts reported was factually correct, but it was not the truth. The people were afraid of change, so afraid, in fact, that some suggested they return to Egypt, to the slavery they once knew. But not all 12 scouts returned with such a dire account. Joshua and Caleb issued a minority opinion. Caleb, ever the optimist, hushed the people before Moses and said, "Let us by all means go up, and we shall gain possession of it, for we shall truly overcome it. The land that we traversed and scouted is an exceedingly good land. If pleased with us, Adonai will bring us into that land, a land that flows with milk and honey, and give it to us." It was surely difficult to be Joshua and Caleb. While they may not have been afraid of change, I am sure they were frightened. They knew it would not be easy, but it would be better. They envisioned a better world. It is already so much better than when I was the same age as our teens today. Our task, then, is to protect all of the progress that has been made. Texas and Florida are not merely socio-political experiments. They are one election cycle away from becoming a national reality. The future we want for ourselves, for our children and grandchildren, will not happen by itself. The obstacles ahead may look like giants, but we must never see ourselves as grasshoppers. It is okay to be scared, as long as we're also brave. The land is flowing with milk and honey. And now is the time for us to be like Joshua and Caleb. Ken Yehi Ratzon. May it be God's will.
We are so lucky. Thank you, Rabbi, for that call. Shaking. So, did you know that there is an intense intertwining between rainbows, Jews, and the LGBTQ movement? From the Behol Levav, I had it up here. Here it is. From the Behol Levavcha Sidor, with all of your heart, the Sidor written by and for CBST, Beit Simchat Torah in New York City, a sanctuary for LGBTQ Jews and families. In their Sidor, they write about this intertwining. Immediately after the Mabul, the flood that wipes out Noah's generation, a rainbow appears. They say, I don't think it's insignificant that the symbol of hope in the Bible is the symbol of gay liberation. It makes sense that the near destruction of the universe is followed by a symbol of a rainbow in the sky. And so here we are generations later, and what is the song that became an anthem of the gay movement? Somewhere Over the Rainbow, written by Yip Harburg, the son of Jewish immigrants, a quintessential Jewish hymn to envision the other side of the rainbow while still living in Kansas. There was no rainbow in L. Frank Baum's Wizard of Oz. This was Yip Harburg's invention, the dream of a downtrodden to image freedoms not yet tasted. When the young Judy Garland sang this song, it was embraced by countless gay people who understood her yearning for freedom and color somewhere else. The same night that Judy Garland died, June 22nd, 1969, drag queens and gay people refused to take the abuse of the New York City police at a village bar called Stonewall. Our gay and lesbian movement carries rainbow flags that link the LGBTQ Jewish community back to the moment after the flood, where God says, "I will never destroy you again," and it is up to you to create a universe that you can be proud of. So as we imagine this different world, it is my joy to call up the next generation, our bat mitzvah, Sophie Sirfas, to lead us in this beautiful rendition of Rainbows and Dreaming.
Once in a lullaby, somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? Happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow. Why, oh why can't I?
So beautiful. I feel a little bit brighter.
I think it's worth mentioning that Sophie had the lead role of Dorothy in her school's production of The Wizard of Oz. It was clearly well-deserved. We continue with Aleinu on page 586. Please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teit gidula le'otzei bereshit, shelo asanu lo'yeh ha'aratzot, ve'lo samanu k'mishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, ve'goraleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, u'mishpachim u'modim, lifnei Malach, Malkei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'ne'eman v'chaya Adonai, l'melech al-kol ha'aretz, bayom ha'hu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo, u'shemo echad.
You may be seated. O God, remember today those who were martyred in years past because of their sexual or gender identity, those murdered by fanatics in the Middle Ages, those who perished in the Holocaust, and those struck down in our own cities in our own time. Remember also those who took their own lives, driven to despair by a world that hated them. And in mercy, remember those who lived lives of loneliness, repressing their true nature and refraining from sharing their love with one another. As we remember those from our congregational family, I invite you to rise and remain standing when the name of your loved one is recited. Tonight, we remember those who died in the last month. Lori Feldman, Stephen Baker, Lowell Scherer, Helen Senzel, Michael Kurapatkin, Marjorie Calvert, Lenny Lightman. If you are in the first year of mourning, I invite you to rise. And we recall those whose yahrzeits fall this week. Maury Acker, Leonard Barrison, Ernest Bergler, David Berkowitz, Anita Bernstein, Philip Bernstein, Ida Bernstein, Mayor Biddleman, Ira Brafman, Morton Brody, Jerry Cohen, Kiki Cohen, Bradley Kustin, Norman Dubrow, Harold Edelson, Reba Eidelberg, Harold Eisner, Ruth Feuerstein, Barry Fine, Miriam Fleisch, Esther Gardner, Stuart Glazer, Janet Gold, Max Goldberg, Gussie Gorelick, Herbert Granick, Cecile Sugar Grodnick, Erwin Gerland, Sophie Hirsch, Oscar Kendler, Joseph Kligman, Herman Klotz, Sheila Kossoff, Eugenia Cover, David Leibovitz, Irving Leibovitz, Sylvia Z. Levine, Joseph Middleberg, Louis Motel, William Nettle, Dina Novick, Selma Quinsell, Gloria Reich, Jacob Reichman, Estelle Rinn, Sandra Rosen, Herbert Ross, Rose Rubin, Herbert Rudnick, Bernard Rudofsky, Ann Sander, Matthew Schwartz, Solomon Sokler, Ruth Taylor, Jacob Tolkoff, Hyman Tucker, Mayor Washaw, Andrew Wada, Esther Weisbrot, Eric Winter, Rose Wish. If there is anyone for whom you are thinking of tonight, I invite you to share their names out loud with us now. We join together with the Mourner's Kaddish on page 598. Please rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmei rabbah, b'alma tivrach yurtei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agara uv'zman kariv v'yimeru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mivorach le'olam u'alnei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kusha b'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'miran v'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imeru amen. You may be seated. How do you do that? So our observance of Shabbat continues tomorrow morning with Holy Scrollers at 8:15, the Shabbat morning minyan at 9:30, Simchat Shabbat at 9 o'clock, And at 10:45, Sophie will be called to the Torah as a bat mitzvah. So lots of options if you want to be with us tomorrow morning. It's the summer, so the schedule, believe it or not, is just as packed as ever. If you are from the ages of 0 to 18 months, we hope you'll join Shirah with Shimon. Shimon Smith, our new cantorial soloist for the coming year. So bring your little ones to that. And Rabbi Prosnet will be teaching a Lunch and Learn series beginning on July 7th, an introduction to Reformed Jewish Responsa. Please check your email for more exciting events coming up. And also please check your email that came out this afternoon for a message from the clergy about today's Supreme Court ruling.
We're going to close with another song about rainbows. Why are there so many songs about rainbows? The Rainbow Connection. I hope some of you know this one. Made famous by the Muppets. Why are there so many songs about rainbows? And what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on the morning star? Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it, and look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing, and what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me.
When love wins at long last, ve'ahavta le'arecha kamocha, love your neighbor as yourself, will be as natural as breathing. One day, love will win every heart. Love will win every soul. Fear will vanish like smoke, and tenderness will fill all our hearts. Let this come speedily in our day. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. I'd just like to play something. That was so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Amazing.
Sorry, I got a little choked up there.
That's what makes it so beautiful. This is not just a sermon. This is life. This is life. This is everything.
Thank you very much.
He's the best. You're the best. You're the best.